Welcome to another episode of Empowered Conversations here with Empowering You Too. I'm Elijah. This is Callum. Welcome. So Callum, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do?
For sure. So to try and keep it short and sweet, in terms of what I do, I run elite sales teams for businesses, coaches and mentors, so they can focus on what they want to do and they can focus on what they do best, being service delivery and content creation, and then leave us to focus on the sales, which is going to drive their revenue so they can scale. And that's what I do. That's all my focus is right now, is on growing the sales teams, so I can create freedom and live my freedom lifestyle, but then I can also help coaches, businesses and mentors have more freedom, but then I can also create more freedom because I'm creating job opportunities for sales reps that want to create remote sales freedom. So it's just, I guess the word that I like to use, is my old podcast called Freedom Lifestyle, is the word freedom. And it's been one of my biggest focuses of my whole life for me personally, but then also helping other people create more freedom in their life, which is similar to yourself, where you focus a lot with breathwork and ChatGPT, because both of them tools are really good to help you create even more freedom. So I guess there was instant alignment when we first connected, that we want the same outcome for people, just we utilize different skills to do that.
For sure. So this whole brand here is personal empowerment, which is empowering people to become their best selves, their highest selves.
Yeah.
And so freedom for me is a big aspect of that. When you're fully empowered, you have the freedom to choose things.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean like when I used to be a hippie running around in a van, it was like, oh, I'm free. But it's not so much the freedom to flow, it's the freedom to choose something that you want and achieve it, to choose a future version of yourself and achieve it, to choose that new car and achieve it, that business and achieve it. That's for me, that personal empowerment. So what for you would you say is personal empowerment?
I'd say personal empowerment is doing what you want to do, because I think it can be easy, not easy, but for a large majority of the world are doing things that they don't want to do. And of course, everybody's, we're living in a world where like things are rising in terms of costs. So you need to pay the bills, which I completely understand. But the problem is it ends up becoming a trap, and you end up not actually being happy, and then you're not going to feel empowered. And the longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be to then leave, because of a theory called sunk cost fallacy. The longer you're in, so it's like a relationship. If you've been in a relationship for 7 years, or let's say you're studying to be a doctor for 7 years, it can then be quite hard to go from that to breaking up with that partner, or to leaving being a doctor and go and traveling the world, as an example. Because the longer you're in something, you're then going to have the regret of all them years that you've been doing with something. So it's harder to leave. So for me, personal empowerment is doing what actually lights you up and what you've come here to do. And I think a lot of the time that does come with an element of taking a risk. It's like, if you're in that, say you're in a role for 7 years and you want to leave, you've got to take that risk. And I think it can be really hard for people to take the risk of unknown because of the comfort. It's comfortable staying in that job. It's comfortable staying in that relationship. It's comfortable staying in your same hometown, right? But I think it's taking that risk, pushing through that uncomfort is how you become more empowered. And you start living more from your own compass of what you actually want out of your own life. And you mentioned earlier when we were speaking about death, and when death happens, it can really make you rethink life. And ultimately, time is all of our biggest assets. And I think when you start to reflect on your past and your life of what you've done, I guess my question to you listening to this is like, if you were to drop dead today or tomorrow, would you have regrets? Would you be gutted that you didn't take that risk? So I think for me, to rewind back to that question of being empowered, is to do the things that you love and to make an impact on this world. And like the words you said to me earlier before this podcast was to leave a legacy.
Yeah, and to feel like you can leave that legacy, right? To feel
Well, yeah,
like
that's
you're
it,
able to
empowerment
achieve it.
in itself.
That's the piece of it, is like,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm empowered enough. I am enough to do this. So when you think of that personal empowerment,
Yeah.
how does that come into play in sales and in the world that you're working in?
Good question. So actually, my, I guess, main focus now when it comes to running sales teams, and also when it comes to even helping sales reps find the right roles, is I focus more on like, what would you get excited about selling? So rather than just selling something to make money, because I'm in Mexico right now, I could easily, if I wanted to, land a remote sales role in America. There's some crazy, there's sales reps earning tens of thousands being on American offers and selling. I could easily go and do that, but the only reason I'd do that would be for money. So I made a strong decision that rather than focusing on chasing money, I want to focus on living my purpose and doing things that I see long term in rather than short term. So for me, I think personal empowerment in sales comes from not always going for the shiny object, because this is a big thing in the remote sales space, but also in business. It's the shiny object syndrome, and I felt, by the way, me sharing this, I'm not saying that I've never fell for this. I 100% have. I think it's very common with entrepreneurs, and it can be really easy to see the shiny object and think the grass is greener, but a lot of the time the grass isn't greener. And even if, yes, you might make more money in that sales role or that business, is it going to make you happy? Is it in alignment with your purpose? Like, I have sold things before in the past where I fell out in love with it. I didn't fully believe in it anymore, but I was still selling it, and that didn't make me feel good. So it wasn't good for my conscience. So I've gone the complete other way now of like, I want to make sure that I'm selling things that are making a difference, and that I actually believe in. And then if I fall out in love with that offer that I'm running, then I'll just drop it, because I'm not in a state of desperation, because I know that when you always focus on chasing money, the money runs away.
100%. Key point. So in sales, what would you say is some common misconceptions?
Yeah.
Common, I guess you could say, beliefs
For sure.
that disempower people when it comes to selling?
I'd say the biggest one that comes to my mind straight away is, and this is crazy how a lot of people that I've mentored in sales have this belief without even realizing. A lot of the world have a belief that salespeople are sleazy. Very common. A lot of consumers think that salespeople are sleazy. A lot of salespeople think that sales is sleazy. A lot of business owners that are selling think that sales are sleazy. I guess my question to you and to the listeners is, how do you think that belief is going to impact your sales? It's going to impact your business. And the transition for anyone who thinks that sales is sleazy is, why do you think that? Ask yourself why 7 times, dig really deep into it. But also, if you're selling something that isn't good for the world, then yeah, fair enough. But if you're running a business and you genuinely believe that it's going to make an impact, or you're on a sales offer and you're representing someone that creates amazing results for people, they got loads of testimonials and case studies, they're helping people live more free life, they're helping people make more money, they're helping people be healthier, they're helping people in relationships. If you're selling an offer that you believe in, then why is that sleazy? It's only sleazy because you've got the mindset of the fact that you're only doing sales to make money. And when you can detach yourself from the money and from the outcome and focus on rather than I'm just trying to sell you. No, I'm actually just trying to help you. And in exchange for that help, you make an income, or you make a commission if it's your sales role. So it's focusing on helping and serving rather than focusing on I want to make money and I want to sell you. That's the key.
For sure. How would you say, have you ever been in a place where it's very nervous system based selling? So you're in more of like a fight or flight in that space of like, I need to sell. And then it's kind of like really about that sale.
Yeah.
So for someone who's like listening, they might be thinking that like, I need to learn how to sell so I can make money, so I can survive and run.
Yeah.
So how would you tell that person, or what have you experienced in that space, and how did you relax and trust more? Or...
Yeah, it's been a big process. So that's a really good question. I've never had that question. And I think it's a really powerful question because it's so true. I think the majority of entrepreneurs and sales reps are in a state of fight or flight. I'm actually currently going through a nervous system reset. And I know you help people with that as well. It's so important, the nervous system. So I have been in that experience. I used to sell events in Mallorca, in Maga, like boat parties, pool parties, bar events. And it was all commission. I mean, I've only ever done sales in a commission. I've never had a salary. I never had a base income. It was always a commission, which was fun because it gave me this different mindset of, it gave me the mindset of abundance in the respect that the better I got at this skill, the more I worked on myself, the more income I could create. So that was fun. It meant that I took more risks. It meant that I traveled the world. It meant that I invested a lot more into mentors than your typical person that has like a salary, because usually people on a salary have more of a scarcity mindset and they're more comfortable a lot of the time. But people that have this mindset, as soon as you enter the world of business or sales, generically speaking, people are more willing to invest into themselves. And the reason being is because they've got a direct ROI. I invest into this mentor, and by me investing into this mentor, I can earn more money. Whereas if you're on a salary, you might not really have that growth of income, so they'll be more hold on to their money more because they aren't going to see the direct ROI in it.
Sure. So in that space though, did you find that like you were relaxing more into that need and that like kind of drive to have money and to have things?
So for me, it happened when I like actually moved into building a business. That was when I really started to reflect on my sales career, and I realized that it was very focused on just money. And then when I started building the business and doing work on myself and investing into mentors, was when I really realized that money is it's a tool to use rather than it being a tool to be in a fearful state for. So it's just relaxing. It's like when I used to be in sales, if someone cancelled, I closed a deal and then they cancelled, it would impact me. Whereas now, if someone was to cancel or not move forward, I literally don't care. And
so what would you say made the difference between that? Because the part of you that doesn't care is now just kind of like, if you were starving and you needed food, or if you had to pay some bills or whatever it was, that part of you, that's what that part of you cares about.
For sure.
That's why it cares. It's like,
yeah.
If they don't do the thing, I'm going to die. If they don't do the thing, I'm not going to pay my bill.
For sure.
So what did you change, or what happened?
I focused a lot. I read a book called The Secret, and it just made me, because I've had periods, I'll give a real life example. This was in, what we're in now, 2025?
Yeah.
It was 2024, so last year. It was July. I was down to like my last, under £100. I was living abroad. I had no family with me to support me. My girlfriend at the time wasn't making really much of an income either. I was supporting her whilst traveling, and I was literally down to nothing because my business was completely failing. And I was sat on a beach in Alicante, sat there, and me and my girlfriend were writing out gratitude. And I was just journaling on the beach, and I was feeling the sun. I was feeling so grateful and joyful, and I was writing out everything, all my goals, but I was writing them down in present tense. And that's something I'd strongly recommend anyone doing, is focusing on your goals that they've already happened, so then you can just chill out about it, rather than thinking or like striving for it. It's already happened. So when it's already happened, you can be more calm and chilled. So I was doing that, and I felt very high energy. I went back to the car, and I went on my phone, and I kid you not, I had a $7,000 invoice come through for a one-to-one client to work with me. I went from literally nothing to $7,000. Yeah, it was a crazy moment, and I've had these experiences like a lot now.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, it's focusing on that state of gratitude on a day-to-day basis has been the key for me to stay grounded and to stay focused and I've been in experiences that me and Ellie were in Bali, and I had to take food off the till at one point. That was a humbling experience for me, because I was very used to in sales making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 pound English every month. So I lived a good life. I spent a lot of my spending increased because I used to earn more, and then I ended up spending more. So then my lifestyle increased, and then that caused some pressure because I wanted to live this life. And then when I was in Bali, and I was at a period where I literally couldn't take food off I had to take food off the till, I then started to really fall in love and realise that you don't actually need as much as what you think, you know? Obviously I was very grateful to be in Bali, that I had the beach and the waterfalls to go to, which were literally free to go for. But if you're watching this and you're from England, or you're watching this from wherever you're watching this from the world, it's like nature's free. And I started to focus more on going, rather than always going to beach clubs that I used to go to a lot, which were amazing. I still love going to a beach club, but I started focusing more, going to more things that were free, that were beautiful, like going hiking, going waterfalls, going to the beach, going into the woods, going on nice walks. And I started to realise you don't really need stuff. And I think because I've experienced very low now, like I'm okay now with not needing to, I don't need to live this crazy life, even though I know I'm going to anyway, but I don't need it. And I think that detachment has been the biggest shift for me.
So yeah, what I'm hearing in there is a piece around detachment.
Yeah.
It's like an emotional, which is something that I like to dive into a lot, is empowerment around your emotions. Because if you're in that state where your nervous system's like, I've only got like $20 in my account, I've got nothing in my account, and it's like, and you start freaking out, and you just want to crawl into a ball and cry and like whatever. Instead of reacting in that way, instead of being in that low frequency of lack, it's like dropping back into this trust frequency.
Yeah, for sure.
And in a way, like surrender frequency as well. You like stop fighting, stop trying so hard. You're just like, I surrender, I trust, and I imagine and I live in the gratitude of exactly who I am in the future, and in a timeless sense, also who I am now.
1000%. And not only, some people will listen to that and may think that's deluded, but what a better state to be in. And it's all just a game of emotions ultimately. And it's like, I guess an exercise for anyone listening to this is like, my question to you is like, what do you actually want? And then what emotions are you going to experience when you achieve that? And everything you want is all just an emotion. So people might want the Porsche, and it's because they want freedom, because they'll feel free when they're driving the Porsche. Or people might want a partner because they want love. Like it's a lot. It's always ties. If you go deep, it is always usually down to emotions. And it's like, whatever the emotion that you want, you can experience that now. Like I've drove my nan's, like, but I never had a car because I've been a digital nomad. I've been traveling for like 9 years, and I was driving my nan's car in England, visualizing it being a Porsche. It's not a Porsche, it was a Ford.
Yeah.
But I felt the feelings of driving a Porsche.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can tap into different states whenever you want. And then when you tap into these different states is when you're going to end up having that income come out of nowhere. Whereas if I was on that beach at that period that I shared earlier in a state of fear, in a state of worry, in a state of panic, I probably would have went to my car and I probably would have had a bill come through. I probably would have owed money rather than received it. And I think the more you can tap into states, one thing to say on this though is toxic positivity. Sometimes it is actually good to understand things that you may have buried, because you don't want to bury things. The more you don't want to have things just completely buried, because that can come out in other scenarios. You end up, a lot of people, they take it out on road rage, or they take it out with their partner, and it's not their partner or not the road rage, it's actually their things they've been suppressing. So it is important to just not ignore that stuff, but then what you want to try and do is have awareness of it, process it, but you want to flip into a higher state. Because if you're in that state consistently, you're just going to keep receiving more
100%.
negative experiences.
Yeah. And so I guess the key piece there is just to look into emotional mastery. I have an emotional mastery course if you also want to check that out. And yeah, that's just such a key piece around relaxing that nervous system and allowing more trust into your life so that you can, when you're in those sticky points, pulling it back to what we're talking about, step into that place of, I'm selling this because it's of good value to this person. Yeah. Not because I need it to survive. Because when we're in a needy space, it comes off as often, if we see that as bad as well, it can come off as kind of repulsive. Yeah. Someone's like, no, I don't, like, this is really needy.
You need this more than I need this.
You want the reverse. You want the polarity switch in the relationship to be, you want the person who you're speaking to be like, I need what you have. Yeah. Because that will actually benefit them. Because if they have a high desire for it and you give them the course or the thing, that whatever you're selling, it's going to increase their life. It's going to improve their life in some way.
For sure.
So what's the psychology behind yes? What truly makes someone decide to buy?
The psychology behind yes is to get them to say yes. It's to get them to sell themselves. Like that is the key. Most people just pitch something or they present something, but they haven't actually got them to sell themselves. And then when you pitch somebody that hasn't sold themselves, it just doesn't hit as hard. And that's when you'll get more no's. That's when you'll get more people cancel. And that's when you get more people refund. Whereas if you can get them so sold on themselves doing it, but also so sold on what you offer, then they're going to buy it. And then you don't actually need to push them into it. They push themselves into it. And you do that by asking powerful questions.
100%. Yeah, I really love that. And how can someone build deeper emotional intelligence and connect better in sales? So we've kind of covered that a little bit, but what's something else? How do you feel that a salesperson or whoever's listening can empathize more with their customer or their client? Yeah. In a way on the other side and understand them a bit better.
Do more work. They do more work on themselves. So this is an area that I think is key, is that people think that they need the new objection handling script. People think they need this amazing pitch. People think that they need to learn more persuasion and all this type of stuff. And it's actually like, just do more work on you, do more internal work, and then you're actually going to feel more sorry for people. In the respect of, like, I've had people criticize me and give me shit, but because I've done so much work on myself now, I actually feel sorry for you, because I'm not going around giving people shit. You know, so for you to go and give people shit, there must be something going on there. For you, obviously feedback's important,
sure.
but like criticism and negative energy, like you'll be in a state of negative energy by giving that. So the reason I say that is because the work I've done on myself, I've realized that a lot of people are struggling. Like most people in this world are struggling with something. So when you're on a sales call with somebody, it's like really understand what they're struggling with and be empathetic and be open to helping them rather than just thinking I want to make the commission, I want to make money. Help them.
Beautiful.
And then the money will come.
Yeah. For someone who's struggling with confidence in selling, what's the first skill they should build?
Good question. The first skill, I would say, become a confident version of yourself. So it's like
build up the confidence in yourself.
Yeah, and also like the biggest thing that helped me when I transitioned from like selling boat parties to selling solar panel systems, so from like, you know, 50, 60 euros to like 15, 20 grand deals, I started really focusing on my energy. And the thing I did was I call it win the morning. And I went like 23 years of my life not winning the morning, you know, waking up, scrolling on social media, watching telly, eating not very healthy foods, not having any time to think, not having any mindfulness. And then I'd go out and sell. Whereas during high ticket sales, I burnt out. And then that was when I started like giving myself more care in the morning. And that included like running, that included going to the gym, that included having cold showers, that included gratitude. And I started to feel more confident in myself because you feel good after you do a workout. You feel good after you go on a run. And that confidence is going to show compared to that salesperson that is eating crap food, isn't going to the gym, isn't walking, isn't getting their steps in, is being ungrateful. You're not going to feel very confident in yourself, and that's going to come across when you're selling.
So yeah, what I like to say in this, which I fully aligns with what you're saying, is find the things you know you want to do, all the small things.
Yeah.
Like I love the saying, the growth is in the small things.
Yeah.
Because you do all those small things. Maybe it's 5 minutes of workout. Maybe it's 5 minutes of stretching. Whatever. 5 minutes of breath work.
Yeah.
Whatever you think in your mind are good little things to do, and you do them, you increase the confidence in yourself. Your inner desire that wants to do the things goes, oh, my masculine did the thing that I want to do. I have confidence in him. And therefore you build up that confidence in yourself.
1000%.
So, yeah, beautiful.